Salve, salve, senhoras e senhores!
Fala, galera!
Tudo bem com vocês? Sejam bem-vindos a mais um episódio do Seinenkai BR,
um podcast da Associação dos Moços da Tenrikyo do Brasil.
E hoje continuaremos a série Seinenkai Pelo Mundo.
Isso mesmo. Hoje nós vamos entrevistar os presidentes do Seinenkai dos Estados Unidos Continental e do Havaí.
Que bacana, que bacana. Lembrando que esse episódio é legendado. Então, se você estiver ouvindo o áudio e não entende inglês, você pode acessar e ver a legenda no YouTube.
Ok, e para começar, a gente vai para o nosso tradicional quadro Bate-Bola Jogo Rápido. O quadro em que a gente pega os nossos convidados de surpresa para perguntas e respostas rápidas.
É isso mesmo, Guilherme. Tudo certo? Roda a vinheta!
The first question is, Jefferson, what is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Brazil?
Soccer.
Soccer. What about you, Yoichi?
Churrasco.
That too. Yeah. Okay, and the second question is, when you first met Brazil Seinenkai at Jiba, what was your first impression, Jefferson?
First impression. Well, you guys are like quite organized compared to Hawaii. Size is big.
For me, I guess to keep it short, I say passionate, very motivated and very passionate about the faith. That's what I felt. Yeah.
Thank you. It's very, very good to hear good stuff about Brazil. Then going to a little bit more serious questions. If you could describe Tenrikyo Seinenkai in one word or expression, what would it be, Jefferson?
I guess, pioneer, like Arakitorio, like
Nice.
Seinenkai is like the core of Tenrikyo, like who should be like leading the whole organization.
Yeah, agreed, 100% agreed. What about you, Yoichi?
What came to my mind was brotherhood, just as a unity of brothers.
Nice. Yeah. A lot of friends, made a lot of friends here at Brazil Seinenkai also. And the last question, if you could describe Tenrikyo in just one word or expression, what would it be?
Happiness, like, take everything, not taking everything as granted and like being able to appreciate everything.
Great answer. And what about you, Yoichi?
For me, I would say something that constantly helps me improve myself as the journey of spiritual development. It's a constant tool to kind of better myself as a human being.
Thank you. And this was our game Bate-Bola Jogo Rápido. First of all, I would like to thank you to come to our podcast. It's a great honor to have you both as our first international, not from Japan, in this Seinenkai International Series. You're our first guest. So I would like you to introduce yourselves.
My name is Jefferson Okada, born in Colombia, near Brazil, raised in Jiba, and I grew up in Jiba until I finished school in there. I went to Tenrikyo Elementary, and then after Tenrikyo Elementary, I moved to Hawaii about 20 years ago, 2000, March 2000. And since then, I've been living in Hawaii. And now I am the 17th Hawaii YMA chairman. The reason why I came to Hawaii is actually my mother. She was born in Japan, but she was raised in Hawaii. So my mother's side relatives are all from Hawaii. And that's one of the reasons why I was sent to Hawaii.
For myself, my name's Yoichi Nakagawa. I am 35. I am born and raised in Los Angeles, California. I currently live a little bit south in the Orange County, or OC, from the TV show. Let's see. I'm from a Single Word Fellowship, which is in Los Angeles, and my dad is currently the fellowship head. We're under Myodo Grand Church.
We want to understand a little bit of the history of the beginning of Seinenkai in the US and also in Hawaii. So, like main events and stuff. So, if you guys could tell us a little bit.
America, the mainland. So, I actually didn't know any history. This was a good opportunity for me to do some research. We have a book called The 50 Years of the Path. So, this was the first 50 years since Dendocho, or the path, started in America. So according to that book, the Dendocho in America, which is in Los Angeles, it started in 1934. And then the Seinenkai, so a while back. And Seinenkai, it started in 1935, so a year after. But so we started in 1935, and then the first chairman, it was the bishop. So the bishop was actually kind of organizing Seinenkai as well, as in charge of Dendocho. And that kind of continued for a while. So 1935 to 1970, 74, that's when the bishop or the secretaries at Dendocho, they were doing the incho for Seinenkai. So it was almost, like 40 years after then, a local person kind of took over the Seinenkai as chairman. And so I was able to talk to the second person that kind of took over, Reverend Ito. He was the second local person that kind of did the chairman.
How old is he now? About.
I would say like 80s.
Oh.
Damn.
About their 70s, 80s. Yeah.
That's a long time.
And he did it for 9 years, so 3 terms he did it as Seinenkai Incho. But yeah, he was mentioning during his term, it was the first ever international Hinokushintai that he kind of organized. So they went to the Jiba and they helped with the construction of the east and west worship halls. So before back then they used to do all manual labor, right? Building the shinden. So he said that was very interesting to actually be able to help construct the shinden.
For sure, man. Yeah. I wish I could be there, but I wasn't born. So yes.
Yeah, I mean, we could kind of work within the shinden, for international Hinokushintai, but not actually, build it. So that would have been amazing back then. And then after he kind of took over, it was all local young men that kind of did the chairman, and I'm the 12th one after that. So I'm not sure how many bishops or secretary did it before him, but yeah. And I guess another kind of interesting thing I found was during World War II. In America history, it's kind of a dark time for like Japanese heritage people. Yeah. They were all kind of taken into internment camps. So similar to the Dendocho, like the bishop and the secretaries, they all were taken away. So during that time, the Dendocho property was loaned to like a Christian group, and they kind of took care of Dendocho for a few years. And so there's a little bit of a blank during that time, but after I believe it was like 3 years or so, they were able to come back, and they started resuming the Seinenkai activities.
That's a lot of history.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Everybody has so much information here. Like, you mainland and Hawaii, and then I feel like everybody's very.
Okay, so I made a
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, it's in
the
Japanese.
history line. Yeah,
Lot of
I
kanjis.
thought
Yeah.
I saw the interview is gonna be in Japanese, so I thought it's better to have the Japanese documentation. But so
It's the
I-
first time someone shares screen here in this podcast.
yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, you're
I did
right.
my
Different
homework.
level.
This is to
Yeah.
prove my homework. Let's see. So Hawaii Dendocho was established in 1954. So 20 years after American Dendocho was established, and with the second Shimbashira visitation, the new Hawaii, the first bishop decided to create the Hawaii Young Men's Association. So same year, 1954. And that was in May 1954. And 2 months after they established the Hawaii YMA, which is in July, they decided the first board member and the first bishop, Morikuni Inoue, was took the charge in the first Hawaii Seinenkai Incho position. And then the second Incho was selected in 1959, and that was the first Incho from local church, Reverend Robert Mikuni. And
Wow, Mikuni.
yeah,
My teacher
is
from
he-
high school, his last name was Mikuni.
is that
Oh,
a
Mr.
Scott?
Mikuni.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's he's the son of
Wow.
Robert Mikuni, and their church is under Shuto, called Taiheiyo Church. I believe they're one of the oldest church in Hawaii. And then most recently, Kyle Kikuchi took over in 2013. He's the first Incho that was selected through election. Yes.
Wow.
And Kyle
That's
Kikuchi,
great.
he stand up and he said he will take over. And he's the
Wow.
also first Incho who is the first generation to the Tenrikyo.
Wow, really?
So
He's
he-
not a son of Reverend.
Mhm.
Or,
Yes,
Damn.
he's not the Caucasian or anything.
Yes, Caucasian.
But yeah, he when he first got introduced to Tenrikyo, he had a great passion to it, and he wanted to, I guess, give back to the organization. And he this is my assumption, but he thought by taking the position he could do something for Hawaii YMA.
Nice. What
And
about you?
myself, well, so
Yeah.
my term also got election.
Nice.
I'm the
Did you apply?
well,
It's
to
like
be
I
honest,
wanna.
to be honest,
Like
I
election, I don't know.
didn't really stand up for that. But during the election, I purposely did not vote for anyone. My philosophy is that my vote is coming from my mind. Like, it's not something that God has control. It's something I have control. So I did blank vote. And from my point of view, whoever selected without my vote is a selection by God the parent. So by doing that, I was elected.
Yeah.
How interesting. I see.
So I took the message, as Oya-sama is telling me to take the intro position this time. And also, I should talk a little bit about the history of, like the whole organization. So after Dendocho was set up, in the year after Dendocho was set up, 1955, that was the first general meeting we had in Hawaii. Per the history, there was 241 members attended. I was very shocked because I don't think we have that many YMA members at this time.
I see.
At the moment. And then we also had the first annual picnic in May. We had it at Alamona Beach Park. We do have this event annually until this COVID happened, and now we do it at Kapiolani Park, which is like park a little bit kind of nearby the beach, but we always apply for the permit, and we set up 10. It's one of the biggest event in Hawaii, Tenrikyo congregates. And we also have annual bazaar, which is the most biggest event I would say in Hawaii congregation, because that's the event that everyone participates as, operate that fun bazaar. And, we open the bazaar to public. So it's kind of known in Hawaii also. And recently, with the connection with Kaisho, Tomo Kaisho, he's from Nanga Daikyokai Grand Church. He used to work at Stamina Ramen. And with his connection, the Stamina Ramen staff comes over to Hawaii and they sell Stamina Ramen at the bazaar.
What?
Nice.
So,
that ramen's so good.
Yeah, it is very good. And, it's good to have it in Hawaii. Like,
I
I
know,
never
right?
expected to, eat that in Hawaii. And like, I guess Hawaii Seinenkai also participated in the International Hinochintai. I guess the first one was in 1986 with the connection of Oyasama 100th anniversary.
Yes.
And then I think from there, I believe the second International Hinochintai participation was 2002. And I started attending one after, which is 2006 with the Oyasama's 120th anniversary. And I think that's when I first met, America Incho. He's been attending every international since then, right?
Yeah.
And also we went back to Jiba during the YMA 100th anniversary. And I believe all of you were there too.
Yes.
That's pretty much it. And our activity-wise, so we do have several, annual events like bazaar, picnic, help with the Seinenkai with camp, and we also do a lot of mochi pounding.
We don't have here in Brazil.
Oh,
We
I
just
see.
use the
machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only do it like a year-end, New Year event, and we actually go to one of the hotel in Waikiki. We went one time because during one of the member was working at the hotel, and he reached out to the hotel management and they let us do the mochi pounding demonstration at the hotel lobby. And from then they actually been inviting us back every year because it's a good demonstration for them, for their guests.
True.
Great.
And
That's great.
main other like non-annual like big event, like we normally do a lot of mainly tree cutting. We do a lot of tree cutting in Hawaii. Major one is mango tree, and they grow really fast and they grow big. So a lot of the Tenrikyo congregates who own a house and they have like trees in the yard, they always call Seinenkai for chishin. And they also
Interesting.
sometimes we go to those followers' friends' house to help cut that tree.
Great. Yeah, you did your homework, man. That's a lot of information.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great
thank you.
opportunity, man. I
Yeah.
Without this interview, I don't think I would ever found out that I was the 17th intro of Hawaii Seinenkai.
Great.
Awesome.
So let's go a little bit more personal. Before becoming an associate, what was your impression about Seinenkai, and how did you start participating in the Seinenkai activities?
Well, when I first moved to Hawaii, I was a Seinenkai member, and I didn't even know the term Seinenkai back then. But my cousin was attending, Seinenkai monthly meeting and stuff back then. And I have an older brother. He's 4 years older than me. So my cousin started taking him to the meeting. And, when he started taking my brother, he figured out I will eventually become Seinenkai member. So he's kind of, forced me to go with my brother. And I would start attending the meetings. I was just going there to enjoy the snacks that they, serve after the meeting. I wasn't sure what was going on. And then when participating in the Hinokshin with my brother, with our cousins.
Yeah, I'm sure it's the same reason for us, most of people here in Brazil also. They're just looking for the churrasco that happens after the meeting.
Truth, 100% truth.
You guys get it every meeting? So spoiled.
Monthly meeting, yes,
once
every
a
monthly
month,
meeting.
yeah.
Wow. For myself, I mean, I grew up in LA, kind of close to Dendocho, about 30 minutes or so. So I was always going to Dendocho for like monthly service. So I had a connection with kind of my peers, guys around the same age as me. I guess a natural transition after Boys and Girls Association was Seinenkai technically, but we have a TSA group, Tenrikyo Student Association. So I was involved with that, and that was probably around like high school. And after that, I kind of, I guess, naturally transitioned to Seinenkai. Yeah, because mainly I was there for, I guess, the people, like my friends. We have a monthly service every month on the third Sunday. So a lot of people, from far away, they would come in on Saturday and they would spend the night. So we would have like a big party pretty much every Saturday night prior to the monthly service. So, I was local, so I would, come and, we would have food, karaoke,
Nice.
we would have drinks, and then we would have it with like the general, everybody, all the group, the reverends and the young ones and everyone. So it was a
Anywhere
lot
in
of
the
fun.
world is the same.
We would like play sports and basketball together, and that's kind of like one of the reasons I, wanted to come to church is my friends and the people. So, and I guess when I was like mid-20s or so, I got a little bit more involved with Seinenkai. My friend was actually the Incho, Steven Yukimoto. I'm sure you know him. So, I just kind of gradually got a little bit more involved, and now I'm the chairman. So, yeah.
Okay.
I was wondering, do you guys have any event that the Hawaiian Seinenkai and the U.S. mainland Seinenkai do something together, or is very separate?
We
Activities.
actually were trying to plan something after last Shintai. Yoichi and also Tommy from New York and I were discussing together to plan America Hinokshintai.
Nice.
But because of, COVID came around,
I
that
see.
plan kind of faded away. But
Yeah.
I always want to, have some kind of, event together with the America Seinenkai and also, East Coast side as well. Not as Seinenkai, but, this Oyasato Seminar Committee.
Yeah.
They, trying to do alumni reunion and also the conference committee. They've been always trying to put, Tamrie Forum every 10 years. And between the 10 years, like every fifth year, they trying to do some kind of conference.
You're going to hold an Tamrie Forum next year, isn't it? Like,
right?
I'm part of the planning committee for that. Last month we had a virtual event. I know Guilherme, you joined us as well, right?
Yeah. I was there.
So we were planning to do an actual conference this year. Unfortunately, COVID happened, so we had to just do a virtual one this year, and we pushed the actual in-person event next year. And it's going to be in Palm Springs, which is kind of a couple hours out of LA. We were planning for that.
I see. You guys were mentioning the pandemic, now that impact that brought everyone to new norm, new way of life. But before that, before the pandemic, guys, can you guys describe a little bit? When we were able to meet physically, what were the main events that took part in each Seinenkai?
All right. So for Hawaii, again, biggest one is bazaar. Not
Bazaar,
not
yes.
only with the Seinenkai, with the whole Hawaii Tenrikyo congregation, but the most biggest hinochin would be a month prior to. We do held the bazaar at a culture center, which is like 5 minutes away from Dendocho. It's very huge, property that Tenrikyo Hawaii congregation owns, and actually my parents are currently in charge of the place, like to maintain the place. We have a judo hall and library on the same property, and preparation wise, we clean the whole place. Like the main place of the location is maintained by my parents, but like the corners and backyards are not really touched. So like every organization like Seinenkai, TSA, Fujinkai, Shonenkai, they start preparing and do hinochin like almost every week. Other than the bazaar, picnic and much pounding, but the main Seinenkai only activity is the meeting and hinochin. And when Kyle was in Cho, we did tons of hinochin. He always accept hinochin requests from every person. So we went like place to place to cut the trees. A lot of tree cuttings, and sometimes helping people move stuff, like whatever it takes the manpower. Seinenkai would always get involved, and also the monthly meeting. We have meeting based on the event coming up, and does that before pandemic.
Since you brought up Kyle, Kyle's actually he's doing seinen at America Dendocho right now.
Really?
Yeah. It's funny. I saw him a couple times, but since COVID, we can't really visit him too much. But yeah, he's continuing his hinokushin at Dendocho now. It's fun. Yeah. It's America Dendocho.
Yep.
But for us, our activities kind of similar to Hawaii. I mean, we help out with all the other, conventions for Fujinkai, Boys and Girls Convention. Any activities happening at Dendocho, they would ask us for hinokushin. Our main Seinenkai activity would be the convention, the annual convention we have in June. Pre-COVID, normally we would have a convention on a Saturday prior to the monthly service for Dendocho, so a lot of people could come and they would get to do both events. But normally we would have a convention in the Shinden, and afterwards we would either, it depends on the year, but we could get like a lecturer, or we could get like a faith experience speeches from our members. But after that, the actual convention we usually go to a park close by Dendocho, and we have like a picnic with Joyce Sannen, and we invite everybody to come, and it's fun. The last few times we had kind of like a athletic competition, kind of like a
like a undokai.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So
Sounds a lot of fun.
Yeah, we have a tug of war and volleyball and all that good stuff. So, and that's a picnic, and then afterwards we would have a barbecue at the Seinenkai house, adjacent to Dendocho. So there we would invite everybody again. That's when all the bishop and all the reverends come out, and we would all just have a good time, and we'll barbecue hot dogs, hamburgers, the American stuff. But
in fact, it's very similar here in Brazil also. Not the part of cutting trees, because we have a lot of trees, but we just live far away, so we cannot gather to do tree cutting. But all the other parts that you said and everything that you said there that happens in America Dendocho is pretty the same. We do also we help with hinokushin in other association events, and do our general meeting prior to Tsukinamisai, Dendocho Tsukinamisai, and monthly service, and it's pretty much the same. Not the picnic, but we have our mini Olympic games here.
Okay.
What was it? Soccer, volleyball, basketball? Yes.
Nice.
It's pretty much
I forgot to mention, but yeah, the mainland is huge, so it's hard for everyone to kind of get together. So
how that works? It's like people from the East Coast. Do they have like a headquarters over there, or they have to go to Los Angeles to do stuff?
No, they have their own Seinenkai kind of board, and Tomi Fukui, he's the head in the East Coast or in the New York area. So they host like a Natsumatsuri, the summer festival. So the Seinenkai kind of hosts the event, and they invite people from around the area, and also they have a language school in New York. So they teach Japanese. It's called the Tenrikyo Cultural Institute. So they invite a lot of the students who want to learn Japanese. They invite them to the New York Center, which is the church aspect of like Tenrikyo. So it's a good event to kind of get people to go to the church.
True.
Yeah. That's big for them. I think last time they had like 200 or 200 plus people. So
damn.
COVID. So it's a big event. The Seinenkai kind of hosts there. We do have it's kind of in spurts. Like we have a group in Seattle.
Really?
Vancouver. So they all local groups that kind of do, like in Seattle, the mochi pounding, that's big up there. The Seinenkai provide the manpower to do the mochi pounding events. So yeah, we're all kind of spread apart, but the one time we could all gather is the Seinenkai convention. So it's a big event for us, and everyone comes to LA to Dendocho for that one.
Great.
Perfect.
Great.
Thank you very much.
And what about nowadays? What are you doing during this new era that we're living in?
Hawaii's the unique part of Hawaii is we're so close. Like the island's so small, so it's very easy to gather around. The farthest drive will be probably like less than an hour, so we can always make a call and try to gather together. But then because of COVID and lockdown, like stay home order and stuff, we stopped seeing each other for a while, and that's when I was using virtual meeting.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I call a virtual meeting and see everyone's face online and get updates of how everyone's doing. Make sure that they're staying healthy and safe, and talk about how everyone's work going around. And very recently, maybe toward the end of last year, like when those restriction got, I guess, lift up a little bit, we were able to start gathering a small number, like with the limitation of up to 5 people and stuff. We will start doing the Hinokshin again. And we've been doing once a month pace of Hinokishin. Because of the COVID, we learned that, way to use the tools available, and which helped us to reconnect ourselves, especially with those who lives away from Hawaii. Like Grant Inoue, who lives in California, he's been attending as many as he could for those virtual meetings. And that before COVID, the only time I could see Grant is when he visits his home or during the Hinokshintai. So I actually see him more often than before. But yeah, slowly, very slowly, but we were kind of going back, and I started holding the in-person meeting from June. And with that COVID, learned that Zoom is very useful. I've been utilizing Zoom as well during the meeting. So whoever cannot make it to the meeting can jump on through Zoom. So that's something that we try to, adjust ourselves to current era with the COVID.
Okay.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's hard for everyone.
What about the mainland?
Same for me. I mean, there's so much you could do, right? Yeah, so
Right.
we usually have our conventions in June, and pandemic kind of hit home here February, March or so. So we kind of had to cancel our convention. We did a virtual one. Last year, Jefferson mentioned Grant. He helped us. He's really good with video editing and all that. So as part of our convention, we put together. He interviewed a lot of people from Hawaii and mainland Canada. So he put together a video, but he helped us out, and he put together a video for about us, kind of how we're handling the pandemic, and he interviewed a few healthcare workers, how they were hit the hardest, so how they were doing, how they're kind of handling all the stress. And also, as part of the convention, we were able to interview somebody, not Seinenkai, but whose family got COVID, and they were very, it was very serious. So how they were able to get through it, and how the faith kind of helped her overcome the challenge. And this one we invited everybody, Fujinkai, Josen, and so it was a good chance, because we haven't seen each other for half a year or a few months, so it was a good time to kind of connect with everybody. After the convention, I mean, we hold just kind of casual hangout Zoom sessions where we could just catch up and see how we're all doing. But besides that, I mean, we still, as of now, we can't really gather at Dendo Show yet. So we can't really gather. They're slowly opening up. Not right now for the monthly services, only the local reverends can come.
So same here.
Yeah. So we're proceeding forward a little bit, one step at a time. But for Seinenkai, it's hard because a lot of our members come from far away. So for us to be able to hang out and gather again, it might be a little bit further.
Might take a while.
Yeah.
I see. I've seen some events with a lot of people, but I thought America has a higher, percentage of people vaccinated, but apparently it's not that.
Yeah, compared to the world, maybe, but we still have a little opposition. Some people are still afraid to get vaccines, and I think this new variant, it's kind of going up in America as well.
Delta one, right?
Yeah. So
I see.
Hopefully, we're not going backwards, but we'll see where we go with this one. Yeah.
All right, guys. So last but not least, could you guys send a message to our associates in Brazil, like a message to Brazil Seinenkai?
From Hawaii, we always say have a spirit of aloha, meaning the family food, friendship, brotherhood, everything like that, has the connection, uniting the mind. Stay safe as always, and just remember, everyone is connected, not physically, but mentally, and everyone's looking at the same direction, I believe. And lastly, but always someone is always with us, so just don't give up and keep doing the good works, and we'll do the same here.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. And can we visit you in the bazaar?
Of
period?
course.
Eat the ramen and enjoy the beach.
We are always welcoming anyone that can come over, like even popping up with no reason, but just like let us know beforehand, so we can like prepare ourselves, and we are always like happy to see people outside. Well, ourselves too, but even more when people come visit Hawaii from outside.
Perfect.
I'll fly over just for the stamina ramen.
Right. I was thinking it's closer to us, right? So,
you guys are spoiled there, man. For us, people of Brazil and Seinenkai especially, I think you guys are in really good hands. I meet a lot of you during International Hinokushintai, and I tip my hat to you guys because, man, you guys have the passion, the motivation, the heart to, gather that much people, and the power to, you're the furthest country from the Jiba for that group, but you still make it out there with the most amount of people. So I have a lot to look up to you guys, Brazil Seinenkai and the congregation there. So I just say keep up the good work. You guys are kind of the model for what we would like to be, especially the mainland being kind of a large area, and you guys still manage to kind of hurrah your way all the way over. So I think your angel is great, or your president, he was great. So please keep supporting him. And I think, I would love to see you guys once again at International Hinokushintai. Hopefully it's next year, but we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we'll meet next year. International Hinokushintai.
We'll make a volleyball team, me and Guilherme and some people here to play with you guys.
Yeah. We're holding the mini Olympics after or before Hinokushintai. Yes, and
we always play like soccer, right? We play soccer during Hinokushintai. It's always fun.
But thank you a lot. I hope we can meet next year. And thank you for the interview. It was super. It was super inspiring to see all the history, all the work that you're doing over there. And I hope we can meet next year.
Agora, momento leitura com episódios da vida de Oyasama.
Depósito interno. Após 26 de outubro de 1838, quando foi estabelecida como sacrário de Deus Parens, Oyasama passava a maioria dos dias isolada no depósito interno na residência, de acordo com a vontade divina. No mesmo ano, quando Shuji começou a sentir novamente fortes dores na perna, chegando a ser carregado na maca, Oyasama soprou a parte dolorida e, deixando colado um papel, curou-a completamente em 10 dias. Disse que ela continuou tal isolamento por cerca de 3 anos.
E com isso encerramos mais um episódio do Seinenkai BR. Se você tiver alguma dúvida ou comentário, você pode escrever aqui nos comentários do podcast ou no YouTube, ou entrar em contato pelo Instagram @SeinenkaiBrasil.
Ou você pode nos mandar um e-mail para podcastseinenkaibr@gmail.com. A sua contribuição é muito importante para a gente ir criando um podcast ainda mais com a cara dos nossos ouvintes.
E é isso, muito obrigado novamente pela audiência e nos vemos numa próxima.
Muito obrigado e até mais.
Até mais. Avante, Seinenkai!
Vamos!